Hello and welcome to the Crochet Business School podcast. I'm Kelly Thomas, the Crochet Profit Queen, and I'm going to show you how you can make a living from your crochet while avoiding the burnout and being able to make what you want and when you want. Going from crochet hobbyist to crochet business owner. This doesn't sound like it should be that much of a leap, but actually, when it comes to how you think about your crochet, this is like a canyon. You may as well be crossing the Grand Canyon because there is so big of a difference between how you need to think about your crochet as a hobbyist versus a business owner. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of crochet businesses fail. It's one of the reasons why it's something you need to carefully think about if you're going to turn your crochet hobby into a business, because they are worlds apart. When crochet is your hobby, it's a relaxing thing, a thing you do in the evening in front of the TV. You crochet what you want, when you want, and if you get bored of something, you can throw it into a corner, into your existing whip pile, and just grab something else instead. You can go out and buy every different brand of yarn in existence and decide what you want to do with it later. You know, if your spending money allows it, you can buy it. You can just crochet something once, and if you don't like that pattern, you never have to do it again. But as a crochet business, it's very different. If you're selling what you make, you need to be prepared to make the same thing over and over again. If you are doing anything with crochet, you kind of have to have a signature. You have to have a niche, which means that you will only be crocheting in that niche. You can't have a crochet business that is based around baby wear and then suddenly go and make a gothic wall decor piece, because it doesn't fit. You're going to leave your audience very confused because it's such a strange departure from what you've been doing already. Within a business setting, that does not fit. You just can't do that. So you are stuck within this narrow niche. I mean, you can make your niche more wider. There are ways of doing that. But essentially, you have a brand and you make what fits within that brand. You can't, as a business, suddenly branch out elsewhere. If you need to keep bringing the money in, you have to keep producing content of some kind. Whether that's blog posts, whether that's patterns, whether that's courses, you need to keep marketing and producing things. You can't just get halfway through a project and go, actually, I'm bored of this now, I'm going to go pick up something else. Because you're not going to make any money off it. You can still sit in front of the TV at night crocheting away, but you're less able to pick and choose when, how, where you crochet. You're going to have to do it. And this is the gulf that causes the problem. If you want your crochet business to be a success, you need to keep making that profit. You need to keep the money coming in. And you can end up in this trap. You can feel like the money is coming in because you're making sales. But if you haven't sat down and done the responsible business thing and worked out your numbers, and that is how much everything costs you, how much you actually make from every sale, and how many sales you need to make the profit you need to justify this business, unless you have done that, it's very easy to fall into a trap that because you are making sales, you are a business. Because there is this kind of bit in the middle. So if you think of a canyon, you've got the two ridges on either side, and in the middle you have this gulf, this great big hole. And inside that hole is this world of hobby business. Hobby business is a trap. It's a horrible, horrible trap. It's where you treat your crochet as a hobby, but you are making some sales, and so you feel like a business. But if you sit down and do the numbers, you're not actually making any money. Now, don't get me wrong, you can be selling your crochet, you're making money from it, I'll be making a small profit, and if you just want to make some cash on the side, brilliant. Nothing wrong with that, that puts you on the other ridge. What sinks you into the hole is telling yourself that because you are making some sales, because there is some money coming in, that you are automatically making a profit, and then that is an excuse to go out and buy yarn and buttons and zips and whatever else other accessories you've seen online from projects that you think, I can buy that, make something and sell it. It becomes an excuse to spend a lot of money on your crochet. Now, hands up, I did this. And the day I discovered just how badly I've fallen into this trap was a bit of a shocker. Because I told myself that when I saw sales on yarn, I can go get that and have a bargain and make more money from my crochet. What was actually happening was I would go buy the yarn and think, yes, I know what to make with this that I can sell. Come back home, put that yarn into my stash, and it would never see the light of day again. I would not do what I said I was going to do. I basically just used it as an excuse to go shopping and buy more yarn and add to my stash. I'm still battling that stash that I built up now, and it's been years. That's how bad it got. Which is definitely a me thing, but this can happen so easily. You can buy all the different things for the projects that you see online. You go, yes, that'll be so amazing to make. It'll sell like hotcakes. But if you don't actually do it, you're just spending. And so I've got drawers full of like the snaps for purses, zips that I thought I could make cushions and things out of, all these different kind of buttons I thought I could crochet with beads, all kinds of things going on. And I told myself it was because I was building my business, I was working out what my customers wanted, and I could give them variety. Yeah, it didn't work. One day I sat down, I worked out the numbers, and I was absolutely horrified. I started selling my crochet so that I could contribute to the household finances because it was difficult. And it turned out I was actually costing us more money than I was making because I'd fallen into this trap. I wasn't thinking like a proper business owner. I was still treating my crochet as a hobby. I was crocheting what I wanted, when I wanted, but because I was telling myself I was selling a few things, I was using that as an excuse to kind of, enable my hobby and to buy things I wouldn't normally. It's fairly easy to fall into this trap because the mindset of going from crochet hobby to crochet business is so big that unless you are keeping on top of it and really putting that effort to make that mindset shift, it's a really easy trap to fall into. So you have to remember that everything you buy for your business is a business expense. And your profits you make from your sales has to cover these expenses. Otherwise, you are making a loss. So if you don't go make those things that you bought the yarn and the accessories for, you have just cost your business money. And you will come out at the end of the year with a business loss. In other words, you are sinking your own money into this. It is not paying for itself. Unless you're making a profit, unless that loss is calculated because you're setting up a website, you're getting things in place, unless you deliberately made that loss to set yourself up for the following year, it's not a business. If you're still crocheting what you want when you want, it's not a business. You should be crocheting what you need to when you need to in order to make the profit and the sales that you need to make your monetary goal. And if you don't know what those are, you do not have a business plan. If you don't have a business plan, you are not quite there in having that business mindset. You should have a goal for every year how much you want to make. Doesn't matter if you're trying to make a bit of cash on the side or if you want to make a living from it, you need to know how much money you want to bring in, how much profit you need to make. So if you're looking to make, say, £2,000 to pay for a family holiday, you need to know how you're going to make that £2,000 profit. What do you need to sell? Who are you selling it to? And how many sales do you need to make? If your goal is to earn £40,000 so that you can live off your crochet, you need to know what you're going to make, how you're going to make that profit, who are you going to sell to, and what is your profit web in order to put this together and make that happen. You have to have that plan. You cannot fall into this trap of the hobby business because that way lies tears and ruin, as I discovered. But I turned it around. I got serious. I stopped using excuses, and now it's a very different story. But it took a long time to get there. Most people, when they decide to start selling their crochet and making money from it, do not know anything about business. Not a thing. Crochet and business are two completely different things. Just because you can crochet doesn't mean you know how to run a business. You have to learn that. And you will probably make mistakes along the way. But you have to have a grip on the numbers. Going from a crochet hobbyist to a crochet business owner means knowing where the money is, where it's going, where it's coming from, how much of it you have. You need to know when you're going to work, who you are selling to, and how much profit you expect from everything that you have to offer. And that does mean that potentially you will lose your crochet as a hobby. There are ways to mitigate that. You can keep crochet as your hobby, but you have to very much separate it. You have to define personal time from business time, personal projects from business projects. And that can be difficult. And this transition is why a lot of crochet businesses fail, because it's just too much. Because just because you can crochet doesn't mean you're going to enjoy selling it. Doesn't mean you'll enjoy working out how to make a profit around it. Doesn't mean that you can cope with losing your crochet as a hobby. Because, many crocheters use it as a coping mechanism, as a way to lose themselves, to wind down, to relax, to bring joy to their lives. And losing that hobby can be just too much. And there's absolutely no shame in that. That is not a thing. If you can't do that, then don't. Just because people are telling you you should make money from your crochet does not mean that you have to. It certainly doesn't mean that you should put yourself through this struggle if you're not going to enjoy doing it. Turning your crochet into a business has to be something that you want, and it has to be something that you are determined to put the effort into. It has to be something that you enjoy, because it's going to take a lot of time to build this. It's going to take over your life, pretty much. So you have to decide whether that it's truly for you. So if you are just starting out, bear all this in mind. And my big piece of advice would be to make sure that you have a handle on your numbers and on the money right from the start, because that will stop you from falling into this trap. So if you need any help with this, any advice, please come to our Facebook community. The link is in the show notes, and come and ask away. So I hope this has given you food for thought. Thank you for listening, and I shall see you next time for the next episode. Bye for now.